Hey everybody, Dennis Prager here with, needless to say, Otto, and not just Otto. By now, you folks know I might as well include Nathan and Megan. Nathan's behind the camera, and Megan is to the side of the camera. So sometimes you see her world-famous arm.
It's true.
It is true. All right, so listen, folks, I have a very serious topic today. By the way, this is number 199, Fireside Chat 199. We're going to have a very special one for 200. And for those of you new to this, I just offer you some thoughts and then take your questions. So I have a habit which has served me well. Takes time, but it's worth the time. I read comments on many of the articles that I read on the internet. I read them on my own column, which comes out each week, and I read them on others' columns. It tells you a lot because overwhelmingly these people are anonymous. Very few have a real name, and even if they have a real name, almost nobody knows who they are. So it gives you an insight into the readers of that particular website or newspaper or whatever. So there was a piece by Maureen Dowd in the New York Times. It was pure, undiluted hysteria, which is very common on the left. In my book about the left and about America, Still the Best Hope, I show 11 hysterias. The number by now is about up to 15 or 16. That's, as I've said, hysteria is to the left what oxygen is to biological life. It doesn't work without hysteria. And when the media get you wrapped up in it, people don't think of it as hysteria. They think of it as a worthy preoccupation. Anyway, she wrote another one about global warming, the existential threat. Existential means threat to the existence of, as if global warming is an existential threat to life, or at least human life. It's just not true. It's not a matter of science deniers. They're the science deniers. Science shows repeatedly there is no such existential threat. And I will give you some numbers about that in a moment. This is not to deny that the world is getting warmer. It is getting warmer. So what? They try to give you constant reasons why this is worthy of panic and changing the economies of the world and sitting without air conditioners, as was advocated in a recent New York Times piece. Why should we have air conditioning? We sweated in the past. Why not sweat in the present? Anyway, so she wrote this piece. Okay, so I went to see, not only did I go to the comments, and I think there were 1,000 or more, not only did I go to the comments, I clicked on, they have New York Times editors' choices, the readers' choices, and list by when they were placed, newest first. I always go to the New York Times readers' favorites, because that would be, right, more indicative of the New York Times readers. So this was in the top 10. I want to read this to you. This is very important. The reader is named Sophia, that's the woman's name, presumably, of Bangor, Maine. I have one child, a daughter, who told me at age 8 that she would never have a child because of global warming. She's now 34 and has never changed her mind, so I will not experience a grandchild. For her wisdom, I am grateful. I wish you could have seen Megan's reaction. I would be heartsick if I did have a grandchild who would have to experience the onslaught of changing climate. So I have a word for this. I wrote a column on it, and I have a word for it. Deranged. This woman is probably a sweet woman, and she's deranged. For a human being, a woman, to be happy that her daughter has decided not to have any children. A, I'm happy my daughter is not becoming a mother. B, I'm happy I'm not becoming a grandmother because of global warming. Sick, sick, sick. These people are sick. There are tens of millions of our fellow Americans who agree with this. They're sick. They may be sweet and kind and lovely and all these good things, but they're sick. It's a sick reaction to life not to want to be a grandmother, not to want your daughter to be a mother. Jews had children while the Nazis were murdering them. Jews had children on the few who survived the Holocaust. They especially wanted children to affirm life in this dark, miserable world. And I might say that the Holocaust is a bit more frightening than global warming. They're sick and bored. They're also tremendously bored, and I'm sure they're secular. Secularism produces boredom of the soul. They need something to clutch onto, having no Judaism or Christianity, no Judeo-Christian religions. So they're going to save the world. Everybody wants to save the world, right? Religions want to save the world, and the secular want to save the world. But the religions, at least, they understand only God will save the world. So they're busy trying to make the world a little better each generation, but not the secular. They are fighting to save the world now. This is a deranged woman. So is she alone? I didn't go through all 1,000 comments, but overwhelmingly they have similar reactions. I will read to you a few of the reactions just to hers because you can reply to a comment. Here are some replies. B. Rothman, NYC, New York City, to Sophia, I completely agree. I have 6 grandchildren and weep inside for the calamitous life that is ahead for them. Ida Martinak, Berkeley. I weep with you, Sophia. Whenever I look at my 11-year-old daughter in the eyes, I feel so many emotions. Guilt for bringing her into this dying world. You're deranged if you look at your 11-year-old girl and think you're guilty for bringing her into the world. You're deranged. There is no other possible term. The only reason I'm bringing this up to you is to ask, how did this happen? Wait. Next one, called Liberal in Texas. I feel your pain. I have 2 sons. Neither one will have children. Neither one. And their partners agree, I'll never have grandchildren. But I also realize that their decisions have in some way been molded by me. I am proud of their decision. Liz, Portland, Oregon, to Sophia. Frankly, as someone who has been concerned about climate change and observing what is happening over the last 10 years with real dread, I do not understand why anyone in the last 10 years would voluntarily have a child. I'll give you one more example. CC in Sonoma, California, to Sophia. My only daughter shares your daughter's feelings. I will have no grandchildren. As I watch my peers enjoying their final years surrounded by grandchildren, I can't help feeling a little jealous. At the same time, our daughters, that's Sophia's and hers, are stepping up to the challenge. I'm proud of them. Okay? So let me read you a statistic here that I wrote out here from Bjorn Lomborg, the Danish statistician at the Hoover Institution at Stanford. Over the past 100 years, annual climate-related deaths have declined by more than 96%. Does that matter? For those of you who trust the science, there's science for you. Fewer people than ever before are dying from the climate. And if they are, guess what? The newest Lancet is the most prestigious British medical journal or science journal. The newest Lancet study of heat and cold death shows that cold vastly outweighs heat, and that in deaths, right? And that climate actually has dramatically lowered total death. But it doesn't matter. So here's my point. I had an epiphany. People believe anything the media tell them. Anything. That is how people can become deranged. I don't want my child to have a child. That is sick. That is truly sick. There is no other word for it. It's not merely wrong, it's sick. It goes against the most profound essence of what it means to be a human, let alone a woman. A woman not wanting her daughter to have a child? Did you ever meet one? You had to go to college. That's the other thing. All of these people have higher education. When I say college makes you stupid, I'm understating the case. College, if you take it seriously, can derange you. Who else says men give birth? Got to be a college graduate to believe that. And to say it with conviction. Men give birth. I don't want my child to have a child. We're living in the world of the deranged because people believe anything the media tell them. And the media all say the same thing. That's why they want to shut us up. Because the left wants one message. And they have one message. NPR, CBS, ABC, NBC, the CBC in Canada, and all the equivalents in Europe. They say the exact same things. NPR, PBS, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post. They lie about the same things and say them over. And if a lie is said enough, like it's an existential threat to humanity, there is no basis whatsoever to that claim. It is a gigantic lie. But it's said over and over. And people will believe it. So much so that they're proud of their daughter for choosing not to have a child. That's where we're at. Okie dokie. Let's see what you have to ask. Okie doke. Question number 1.
Hi Dennis, my name is Miguel. I'm 23 years old. I'm from Madrid, Spain, and I'm a big fan of yours and all the work you do at PragerU. It's awesome, really. Well, my question for you is about a Fireside chat you did on Cuba, where at the end of the video you talked about my country, Spain, and that it was once a very Catholic country, which is true, that nowadays we're losing our Judeo-Christian values, which is also true. And my question for you is, if you would give me some piece of advice on how to help my fellow Spanish citizens to get them back on track on the Judeo-Christian values once again, how would you achieve that? Thank you very much. And say hi to Odo, by the way.
Otto, hello from Madrid, Spain. Is he moved?
No.
Not moved at all?
Not at all.
I'm moved. Let me just say that. Thank you, Miguel. That was beautiful. Well, you have the exact same question that I have asked my whole life. How do you get people to take Judeo-Christian values seriously? When they die, we've had in Europe, it was clear what we got. We got fascism, Nazism, and communism. And now we're getting derangement, really massive derangement. America is a racist society. Men give birth. It is good to change standards for different races. We'll have different math standards for blacks than for whites, as if that's not contempt for blacks. I mean, you can't get more contemptuous than that. I mean, truly, I have said often, the secular world keeps me religious. The amount of absurdity that I saw starting at Columbia University when I was there, and the amount of nonsense I was taught made me realize that while there are a lot of religious dummies, the secular world only produces foolishness. Only. It produces knowledge. I have no doubt about that. But foolishness. So what you need to do is make the case that I make. I mean, if you want, put subtitles on my videos on the 10 Commandments that are at PragerU. That would be a great thing that you might do. Get these good ideas out in Spanish. They've touched you. You like them. Spread them. There is no other answer. Spread good ideas. Now, let me just warn you, though. It is far easier to do a lot of evil than to do a lot of good. It just works that way. Right? I mean, if I went into a mall and started shooting people, and I murdered 5 people and paralyzed 3 people and brain damaged 2 people, how I did, and that would all take 5 minutes. What good can you do in 5 minutes to that many people to compare to the amount of evil you could do in 5 minutes? It's just the way the world works. So you have to do what you can, one by one by one. Maybe you'll have a podcast. You also have to deliver it in very rational, very understated terms. Don't tell people to believe. Just tell them the arguments for the Judeo-Christian value system. Do you know, by the way, I have devoted all my life to this, and I almost never argue for God's existence. Obviously, I believe in God, but I don't debate that much at all. I debate and make the case for God's necessity. God's necessity is more important than God's existence in terms of leading a good life. That I can persuade people. And that's why they hate my videos on that. Like, if there is no God, how do you know murder is wrong? And of course you don't. If there's no God who said do not murder, how do you know murder is wrong? You don't know it's wrong. You believe it's wrong, you think it's wrong, you feel it's wrong, but you don't know it's wrong. It's not knowable. It's feelable. It's an opinion. So good luck, my friend. That's why we're here, to help you do that. Press home to open. I did it. All right. Caleb, 17, Niceville, Florida. Let me say this, Caleb. To know that a human being actually lives in a place called Niceville, you're a lucky man, I gotta say. When I think that there's a place called Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and you got to live in Niceville, Florida, you are one lucky son of a gun, I gotta tell you. I mean, Intercourse, Niceville, shows how much luck there is in life. Even the name of the place you're born. Niceville. By the way, are there any mean people in Niceville? And you wonder, I'm not joking now, does the name affect any of its citizens? You know, I'm a son of a bitch from Niceville. It's hard to imagine. Am I right? I'm the damn mayor of Niceville. I'm getting carried away here. I loved it. Caleb. All right. Hi, Otto, Dennis, Nathan, Megan, and Snoopy. When somebody adds Snoopy, I really know they're a regular. Snoopy is sort of like Mr. Snuffleupagus, Big Bird's invisible friend. You got to really watch a lot of Sesame Street, right, to know Mr. Snuffleupagus. I used to watch, by the way, I watched Sesame Street. Shows you how old that program is. I watched it every day before I went to Columbia in graduate school in the 70s. I thought it was a riot and intentionally right. I'm not saying it in a mocking way. Oscar the Grouch, I thought I loved that guy. He was my favorite. Mr. Snuffleupagus, the invisible friend. I mean, Bert and Ernie. These guys cracked me at the count. And now a moment to reflect on life with Otto. All right. Often I see and hear about how leftists walk away from questions and debates with conservatives due to the fear of being wrong. I've seen this happen at school, and I know you've also seen it happen multiple times. So if they know there is a good chance they are wrong, why do they almost never take time to question their beliefs and instead continue thinking the same way? They don't think that they're wrong. They don't debate us. That's correct. I have offered money to any New York Times columnist who wishes to debate me. I will go anywhere they want, anywhere in the country. I would go to their house. They wouldn't have to leave their house. Just let's video it and agree on the subject. They could have their own moderator. They could have their own partisan audience, but they'll never do it. What black leader on the left is going to debate Larry Elder or Candace Owens or so many of the other black intellectuals who are conservative? They never debate. We're dying to debate. I'm dying to have them on my radio show where I treat people beautifully. They won't come on. So you would think that, as Caleb does in Niceville, that, well, hey, the fact is we won't debate them. Maybe we're wrong. That's not what they think. You know why they won't debate us? I know why. This is the argument they give. We're not worthy of being debated. Their common argument is, would you debate a Ku Klux Klan official? That's what they say. We're unworthy of debate. Not they're wrong. Nathaniel, 23. Grass Valley, California. Hello, Mr. Prager and Otto. My journey of self-discovery started with leftist ideals and classic liberal courtesy. Thanks in no small part to PragerU, the Fireside Chat, Candace Owens, and Larry Elder, I now find myself embracing libertarian/conservative values. With the current state of our beautiful country, how can we remain informed and engaged politically without letting it dominate our life? Very intelligent question. How old are you? 23. Thank you and everyone at PragerU. I am proud to be a member of Prager Force. P.S. Give Otto a rub for me. Otto, everybody wants me to give you a rub. Oh, Otto's up. There we go. I can't say that the first thing you think of when you see Otto is he brilliant? This is not an insult, by the way. I don't want intelligence in dogs necessarily. I want intelligence in people. I want friendliness, cuteness. I want enjoyment. Brains is not in my top 5 list with regard to a pet, just for the record. Okay. Anyway, how can we remain informed and engaged politically without letting it dominate our life? That's a brilliant question. And I work through that because, to a certain extent, it does dominate my life, trying to help save the freest country in world history. However, it doesn't dominate my life. I live a full life in addition. That is why family and religion and hobbies, I'll name 3 things. Family, religion, and hobbies are so important. It's not healthy just to fight politically. You need a full life. It helps you fight better, and it makes you a better and healthier example to people. You're not just a political creature. That's one thing a lot of people on the left are. That does dominate their life. There aren't other things that distract them from that which gives them meaning. Politics is not our meaning. In fact, it's the opposite. The truth is, for me, politics has never been a particular area of interest. I am much more interested in religion than in politics, just to give an example. I'm more interested in music than in politics. I can give you a very long list. But I can't ignore where my society is headed, so I've become involved. What's our timing?
25.
Oh, cool. All right. Okay. Matthew 64. Whoa. A jump. Brighton, Colorado. Dennis, I just watched Fireside Chat 196, and I finally found, it's good that we give them names. People refer to them by their numbers. I mean, did I say numbers? I meant name. I mean numbers, not name. And I finally found something the left doesn't destroy when it touches something. The left doesn't destroy itself. Along that line of thinking, I quit my limited participation on social media. Before that, I'd ask leftist Marxist communists to name me 3 successful socialist societies. They couldn't, but I could. Ants, bees, and termites. Cute. Okay, so to Megan's credit, she has a tweet from Matt Walsh. Can we just take a minute and laugh together about this? BLM attacked Boston Pride, a gay activist group. BLM is Black Lives Matter, of course. A gay activist group that's been around for 50 years claiming that they're too white. Boston Pride responded by apologizing and disbanding its entire organization in shame. The left does destroy itself. If you look at anywhere the left has taken power, like in the Soviet Union, Stalin killed virtually every single communist leader. It was a purge, a complete purge of his rivals. So what they do is they start eating up, devouring conservatives and all the traditional institutions of society. And then people don't care. It's the classic thing. First they came for this group and I didn't do anything because I wasn't a member of that group. Then they came for this group and I wasn't a member of that group. And then they came for me and there was nobody left to fight for me, to speak up for me. So that's exactly what happens with the left. And it started, by the way, interestingly, with smokers. And I don't like cigarette smoke any more than anybody else does, and I don't smoke cigarettes, and I never have. I do smoke cigars, as many of you know. And it's not because I'm a cigar smoker that I talk about this. I'm against prohibition, and I don't drink. But they lied so much in their war against tobacco. The Mayo Clinic, right, one of the most prestigious medical centers in the country, has on its website that cigars are as dangerous as cigarettes. That's an out-and-out lie. That's just a lie. There's no truth to that statement. People don't inhale cigars, they inhale cigarettes. Cigars are smoked for taste, not for nicotine. Cigarettes are smoked for nicotine, not taste. There might be some taste, but that's not why they smoke them. They're nicotine delivery systems. So they do devour themselves. That's the whole point. What is it? The phrase used in the Bible? A land that Eretz ocheret yoshveha, a society that devours its own inhabitants. And now?
29.
29. Well, then, I won't take another question right now. I do love your questions. I'm tempted on occasion to say nothing in the beginning and just take questions. I might do that once. But I had to share with you this notion of the derangement that is caused by media and colleges. That so many people, truly millions like these people that I read to you from the New York Times, are proud of their son or daughter who has decided not to be a parent and not to give them a grandchild because of global warming. It's not the only deranged view. That's the only word for it. Human beings want children and want grandchildren. That's about as universal a truth as exists. Okay, y'all. Until next week, I'm Dennis Prager with Otto. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. To keep PragerU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.